Good evening. It is the Beast of the East podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, also coming to you on the Y'all's Conference Network. On the video side, it's an exciting day because our brand new cast is aboard. Joining me from last week is Vinny Hardy, and our newest not guest but host is Israel Troop. What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
A whole lot. Vinny, how we doing?
We doing good, man. How everybody doing?
So we are doing good indeed. So we have a very, very action-filled show for you. Lots happening. A lot happening very, very quickly in the world of college football. We're gonna give you a little recap of last week's games and something called the coaching carousel. There's been a few moves out there. I don't know if you guys have seen those, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And of course, the SEC championship game it is on the horizon. If you want to follow our socials, it's right on down here at Troopstar28, at Vinny Hardy, at Coach Burton36, at Believe in Dogs, at Believe in Kentucky. Check those out. Subscribe, hit that bell. Also, guys, we are brought to you by betonline.ag, and we got a brand new sponsor as well. So BetOnline is back and better than ever. A new web interface for the rest of the NBA season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. It remains your number one spot for basketball and football action this season. The NFL is about halfway through, so there's still a lot of props there too. So what are you going to do? Vinny and Israel, we're going to head to the new and updated desktop or the mobile website to sign up today. Receive the 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use a promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your bonus. Bet online, it's where the game starts, guys. So how we doing? How's everybody's Thanksgiving?
Had a few days off.
Great. Got some hunting in. Yeah, it was good.
Jolly. What's your favorite side dish, or what was your favorite side dish?
That's tough.
Dressing.
I got the mac and cheese this year for the Thanksgiving dinner, so that was a big step up for me.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Got a strong mac and cheese game.
Oh, believe it, baby, believe it.
That's Israel for us, man. He's got it's on point, man. The mac and cheese game. The stuffing was real. The dressing was really good this year for me. I really enjoyed that. And the sweet potatoes.
Sure, you can't eat everybody's stuffing.
No, you can't.
Sometimes it has too much sage and too much stuff to mess it up. You know, you got to have it all seasoned up right and mixed right.
It's got to be the right blend. So
yeah, some people go too hard on the, I guess it's sage or I can't think of the other herb. I think some's a sagey, and it just messes it all up when it's too sagey.
Exactly. So whoever made the stuffing at the Thanksgiving I went to did a outstanding job. So I'm excited about that. But nonetheless, there was a lot of good football on. I think Israel just dropped out. I'm not sure. But lots of great football on last week. We'll talk about that. There were some pretty good NFL games on Thanksgiving Day, but we don't have time to really talk about those. But the coaching carousel is really cranked up. Lincoln Riley to USC. Yep. Apparently, Brian Kelly's expected to be named at LSU. Billy Napier to Florida, among many others that are soon to happen. So the chat is blazing. We're talking about Lane staying. I'm not really surprised by that. I think that's a really, really good job for him. So I didn't think he would. I didn't think he'd be quick to leave. So, but if you want to jump in on the chat, we've got some people rocking and rolling. Them Rebels, they Egg Bowl champs. But so out of all those moves, let's start with Billy Napier to Florida. To me, that's a home run, right? To me, that's who I thought LSU should have went after.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great hire. I was talking to our head coach today about Billy Napier. He's a great guy, great players coach, great offensive mind. People forget he was at Clemson, he was at Alabama. OC at Arizona State. Kind of got stolen away from Arizona State by Louisiana. So I mean, he's and check his track record of what he's done there. I didn't completely forgot that Louisiana even had a football team other than LSU. So he's done some great things. I think it's overshadowed by the big names that everybody's getting now. But I think Florida made a great hire in getting Billy Napier.
Yeah, he's done his thing down there, and like you said, he could have maybe been plucked up a few other instances before now. Just playing devil's advocate with y'all, he's still maybe not a splashy name as others when you think about Florida, but that doesn't mean he's not ready. But which makes more sense now, Napier now or Mullen when Mullen got hired at Florida, just in y'all's opinion?
Napier now. I think Napier's a better recruiter. I think he's got more energy. I think he's a better motivator. It's just a better – I think he's a better all-around coach than Dan Mullen. Now, Dan Mullen, he knows his offense. He didn't forget how to coach. But I think there's aspects of Dan Mullen as a head coach that I do not like as far as the recruiting aspects and the way he runs his programs and the way he kind of handles the media and all that stuff. I think Napier is everything that Mullen wasn't as a head coach, and I think he'll hire good people around him.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine. They're big Florida fans. They were talking about the recruiting process from when Mullen was there and from when I got recruited when Urban Meyer was there. We know Mullen was the offensive coordinator then, and the experience was totally different. They're feeding the kids hot dogs and just it's kind of boring, when you go to Georgia. I mean, you're getting high dollar meals. You're getting catered to left and right. So, I mean, I think the aspect of recruiting was kind of going down. That's why you weren't getting those 4 and 5 stars going to Florida like you used to.
It's sad. And it makes sense to see in the product they have on the field. So anybody that's going to recruit during the season is going to be an immediate upgrade. So there's that. The one concern, Vinny, that I think you and I and Israel all know is he was scapegoated at Clemson. He was the offensive coordinator when West Virginia scored 750 points on him. So that's 77 for those of you who don't know. So
yeah, that takes a while to wear off. That's a little smudge. Yeah. It took a little time to get in the rear view.
He had to grind a little bit, but I think he learned a lot from that experience. I think he, there's some things that he did, they're asking Israel about your shirt.
This is our high school shirt. I coach at Monroe High School down here in Albany, Georgia. This is actually one of the 3 shirts that I ordered, but this is the Monroe M, the new Monroe M that we have now.
There you go. Yeah, somebody was concerned that you're bringing that Michigan garbage in here. Although Michigan, that ain't garbage this week. If I could get a run game like Michigan's, we'll be in good shape. So Florida, I think they get a solid A. I thought it was all Benny. I don't know if you can see the chat, Israel, but all Benny. Napier is obviously an A. Brian Kelly coming to LSU. I mean, that's all but official, but it's looking like that's going to be the case. My man Cody Caldwell's given it an F. I think that's a little strong, but
it's a weird fit, though.
It is a very weird fit.
If it's a fit
for the fit, I think for the fit you get an F for the fit, but I think for an all-around coach, kind of what they're looking for to bring a little bit of stability back to that program. I think they get an A for that. You can't knock what Brian Kelly's done at all. His coaching pedigree is really good. So I think that from a coaching standpoint, they get an A. From the fit standpoint, well, I don't get an F. I give him a D-, because his personality doesn't fit, the Raging Cajun,
Yeah.
Tigers. You know, it doesn't really fit, you know, what they do in LSU, but I think he'll bring a little bit of swag to them. You know, they'll play hard just like they do at Notre Dame. I think it's all depends on who he brings and puts around him. That's going to make that job worthwhile.
He got to do it quick too. He ain't got time to mess around down there. We know that. But the talent in Louisiana, he got it all to himself, and you know it's hard to mess that up. And we've seen and Les win chips down there, but you can't be dilly dallying around and starting off sluggish down there. They'll chew you up and spit you out.
They will. They will. They will quickly put you in a pot of gumbo and they will run your butt out of town. So I mean, as a fit, man, I don't know. Like I think, you know, it's not a great fit, but I mean, who out there that was available was a great fit? I mean, Matt Campbell would not have been a great fit. Obviously, Lincoln Riley was not a good fit. He spurned him for USC. Hugh Freeze was never going to go back to the SEC. Bill O'Brien is an even worse fit than Brian Kelly. I mean, Bill O'Brien is a Northeastern guy. Like, he's a New Englander, I think. I mean, he's about as far away from the Cajun personality as you could possibly get. So, I mean, at the end of the day, is the guy genuine? Can the guy coach? Is he going to surround himself with great people? And I think he will, because he has already at Notre Dame. And he's going to go to a place where it's a little bit easier to recruit because you're in a great home state of Louisiana. You got Texas right next door. You don't have the strenuous, overbearing standards that Notre Dame has on the academic side, which is good in a lot of cases, but sometimes can handcuff you a little bit. So I don't know. Like, I think it's going to be ultimately, I think it's going to work out because I do believe that he can get the job done. And I don't want to really say I'm a fan of his, but I think he can turn the tide a little bit and say it wasn't just because he was at Notre Dame the reason why he did a good job. So I like the hire overall. It's a weird fit, but I think I like it. I'm not ready to give it.
I'm bringing my DC. I'm bringing my DC.
Got to, right? You got to.
Is he getting consideration to get promoted though?
Probably not. Probably not. Unfortunately, he should, but he probably won't because they like LSU, they like USC, want to just go for that big splash.
Urban Meyer. That's what I'm hearing.
Urban Meyer. That's right. And I'm seeing Bill O'Brien to Virginia Tech. Yikes. That'll be good for Bama fans, that's for sure.
I don't think he spent enough time in the Saban coaching school. You got to think Billy Napier spent time in the Saban coaching school. He was the receiver coach at Alabama, so he spent time around Nick Saban. He kind of learned how to run a program.
Yeah,
won a couple national championships with him, so he's been there. I don't think Bill O'Brien's been in Alabama long enough. Lane Kiffin, same thing. Kind of learned how to change the tide a little bit, put discipline along with his swagger.
Nice
punt. That's why Ole Miss is doing so well.
Absolutely. But yeah, Bill O'Brien, he might be encouraged to take that job if you catch my drift. Because it was brutal offensively. They could not run the ball. But yeah, Bill O'Brien to Virginia Tech. I think I would have rather keep Justin Fuente. But there you go. That's another heart attack for Urban. Get out of the NFL. Jeez. He was just jet setting back to college, man. It's crazy. Urban. Wow, that's laughable. Lincoln Riley to USC. Now, this beyond like it being a home run for USC, because I think they got a great coach, and you can say what you want to say about him being scared of the SEC, but when Pete Carroll was at USC, they were dominant, dude.
Yes.
They were absolutely dominant. They made that part of they shut down that part of the country to everybody else. So having USC back on the map, which potentially could happen under Lincoln Riley, is going to be really good for college football because it's going to bring a West Coast power in, and we're going to be our views of USC are going to be a little bit different potentially. Now, this is all, I mean, potentially Billy Napier's a home run hire for Florida. He could fall on his face. We said that about Dan Mullen, home run hire. Look where it's got us. So we don't truly know, But I think as of right now, I think that was the right move to make. The next question is actually, I'll wait to ask the next question. Lincoln Riley to USC. What are our thoughts about that? Is it going to be a home run? Why do we think it's going to be a home run? Israel.
I think it's going to be a home run from the standpoint of recruiting. We all know he's a player's coach through and through. We know that. I don't think he ran from the SEC. I think the money that they're paying him made him go to USC. You got to think, from what I read today, I don't know if it's true or not, they bought both of his houses. I mean, for $1 million together, 500 grand, a piece more than what he paid for him. He get to use the private jet whenever he wants to.
Yeah.
I mean, salaries at like 110 mil over, 5 years or something like that. So, I mean, you can't dispute anything like that. You can't turn that down.
Yeah.
And the fact that you get to recruit all the West Coast, what made Pete Carroll so good? He kept players in California, and he pulled a couple from all these other states in the nation.
He made it extremely cool. He made it fun, and he made it like, if you're not at USC, you're not in the running. And those 5 years, Steve, were dominant. So in the comments, 5 years out of 50 is USC. Yes, but those 5 years were absolutely dominant.
You get two Heisman Trophy winners. You get two Heisman Trophy winners. So I mean, well, you can't beat that.
And a 1.5 natties. So it was good, right?
I'm not gonna say he's running away, and he will recruit in California. He was already, bringing California kids to Oklahoma. So now you put him back in LA. That should continue and probably improve. So I'm with you on that. Maybe he's not running away from the SEC, but the easier path in the Pac-12, and if he can recreate what Pete Carroll did, it's gonna be a lot easier in that league than if he was coming to the SEC with Oklahoma in a couple of years. Honestly, I mean, I think he was still he got out while the game was good, because Oklahoma could easily have 6 losses this year. They played with fire all season long, had a lot of close calls. They only had 2 losses, but they were, Kansas punched them in the mouth in the first half. All these, really treacherous outcomes. We know it's a game of inches and go either way every week. But he could have easily been 7-5, and nobody is, everybody talking about the shine coming off of him. He got on and got that 10-2 and dipped on out, and getting was good, roll on out and start a new chapter, take a new challenge. But we could have been talking a whole different conversation about Lincoln Riley this year.
Absolutely. I mean, it was so close in a lot of ways. And yes, I have said numerous times, OU is a very, very soft team. But honestly, like, they were that way under Stoops too. So I don't know that he didn't turn them into a soft team overall. Like, they can be physical at times, but I think sometimes when they get hit in the mouth, they don't respond very well. They've always been that way under Bob Stoops. So to me, this is where we're really going to see Lincoln Riley, right? We're not, because he kind of just took over for Bob Stoops and kind of just continued on, and then just kind of took it to a very, not like a huge jump, but like he took it to another level. Not quite the level that OU fans wanted, but he took it to another level than Bob Stoops. But he kept winning the conference, kept getting them into the playoff, even though they were getting
2 Heisman Trophy winners.
2 Heisman Trophy winners. So, I mean, he did a tremendous job. Yeah, were they soft this year? Absolutely. But they've been soft. That's the reason why they get shellacked in the playoff games, because they're soft. The Big 12 is a soft conference. The Pac-12 they've got
it's getting more physical.
I would say, I would say the Pac-12 is more physical than the Big 12. I would say it's tougher. Like, you have Stanford, you have
Utah,
Oregon, you have Utah.
Utah
will flat slug you in the mouth.
Whittingham,
You got Cal, who Yeah, absolutely. I love Whittingham. But you got Cal who will slug you in the mouth. They're not really competent, but they're tough. They're just
Washington
totally.
State's about to be really good.
Washington State's about to be really good. Oregon State is getting better.
It's
They're
coming.
they're tough. Again, they just don't have the people to finish a game. Oregon, at times, Oregon's probably, I wouldn't call Oregon soft, but they're not exactly tough either. They're kind of in the middle. But USC has a pretty damn good roster, despite all of Clay Helton's inabilities. Like, they've got some players that Clay Helton would have never gotten anywhere else. Defense wins championships. Yes. So, yeah. Well, I mean, Washington just made a great hire for them. They got Kalen DeBauer. I don't know how you say his name. Somebody got to help me out with that one from Fresno State. So, it's a tougher conference, I think, than the Big 12. What he can do at USC, he's going to have to hire. He's no Clemson quarterback. No, he's not. No, he should be with that name. He needs to add about 13 more letters to his name, and he'll fit right in on the Clemson roster. But I mean, to me, I think it's going to be a great fit. I think in year one, he's going to bring some excitement to that program. I think in the transfer portal, Jaden Hazelwood is going to come to USC. I think he's going to get some good recruits in that regard. So I think he's going to have a really good loaded roster. I think he can be the guy to take him to the next level. I'm excited for it. I like it. But my main question is, here's the elephant in the room. It's going to affect possibly two programs in the SEC: Tennessee and Kentucky. So, Vinny, I'll start with you. Are you nervous a little bit that Mark Stoops could end up at Oklahoma? Is there any indication that he's looking?
He's still saying all the right things. He was out recruiting today. One of the big issues he's requesting was, recruiting budget and private jet and all that kind of stuff like the basketball team has. And you saw him stepping out the jet today on Twitter, talking about big game hunting. And he was up in New Jersey. He was everywhere. I don't know if he wants to be kind of in Bob's shadow and follow Big Brother and all that. I mean, they get along in their family, but I never got the feeling that it's like we just gotta be together. He could up and decide he wants to do that now that Lincoln is gone. But that one is probably maybe the most concerning one. LSU and not really Florida, all these other ones. Notre Dame opens now, but Oklahoma maybe would be the one that kind of makes you worry the most. So we'll definitely have to see what happens. But he's still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing Venables too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, they're going to Kentucky's going to have to bring the bank at him, I guess. Yes, because Notre Dame could come calling, and also Oklahoma could come calling. So he'll get a raise nonetheless. If I'm Brent Venables and I'm making 2.3 as a coordinator, am I really wanting to take on the role of a head coach? Are they really going to offer him? I don't know that that's the route they need to go. Like, I mean, to me,
I don't think he wants to leave. I think he's fine. He's content with being a coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really make somebody leave and be a head coach if their aspirations aren't to be a head coach. That's hard. That's really hard to do. And he's had plenty of opportunities to leave before Fuente got hired at Virginia Tech. He could have had that job.
Yeah.
So I think he's pretty content. And when you got a guy that's content, it's really hard to make him get off and move somewhere else, especially for a head coaching job, at Oklahoma. You got to think big time boosters run Oklahoma. Does he really want to deal with that? I think that had a hand in why Lincoln
he's
left
been
as well.
Now he's been there before. I think that's where the connection is, because he was a coordinator there before he came over to Clemson. So the boosters know him, but I still you just watch him. I think he's a get in the lab, watch film, and break down stuff type of defensive coordinator. Like I
Yeah,
don't
he's
know
not in the
that.
limelight
Yeah,
camera type guy.
kind of like
No,
John Chafers back in the day for Tennessee. He was just, I just want to be a coordinator. They had no desire for the media stuff. I don't want to do a coach's
Mhm.
show every week. All this other stuff that I got to fool with. I ain't want to do that. Go speak at the quarterback club. I don't want to do that. This one coach. And Venables is 50 years old. I'm not saying that that's ancient, but he's had, like Israel said, plenty of chances to make a move. Look at Lincoln Riley in his 30s and already head coach. So maybe he ain't wired to want to do that.
and that's perfectly okay. And
Yeah.
he's making more as a coordinator than half of FBS as head coaches. So he's certainly not gonna go down to G5 level to deal with all that stuff. So keep an eye on that. They may sway him. I'm not real sure. But yeah, Brian Kelly, 15 mil per year. That's just irresponsible. They're paying him 15 mil a year. That's just irresponsible. You're just
Think
asking
about
for
it.
it.
You had to do something to get him away from that school over there. You had to do a lot.
And more revenue is coming. There's more. The TV deal is, it's just gonna be more stupid money flying around, and everybody just dying to overpay somebody.
Speaking of stupid money, can they dump some over here to the Beast of the East podcast? We got an open slot. Just dump it right here. Just dump it right there beside Vinny and underneath me there. You know, I would love to see a duffel bag full of racks.
Just drop one. That's it. We ain't asking for a lot.
Yeah,
Just
just drop
a little
one.
bit.
I mean, 10 million split three ways. I can you know I can go with that.
Yep.
I'm good with
Hey,
that.
I'm still gonna go to work in the morning.
Mhm.
I'm fine.
You want those old people that win the lottery and still punching the
I'm
clock
still
in
going to
next
work.
day. Yeah.
I get
I
bored,
just
man.
know that I can tell them that guess what? I can quit any day of the week. I'm just here because I want to be here. Just remember that.
Tennessee might have some McDonald's bags. I'll take it in a McDonald's bag too.
Nope.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Loving it. And duffel bags still happen, yes, but I don't know why. Like, why is everybody being secretive about it now? You have NIL, so why are you being secretive? That doesn't make any sense either. So, but those are the latest. And all you Jacksonville State fans out there, congratulations on hiring Rich Rodriguez.
Ooh.
So
Can he keep it to himself this time?
that's the question. Can he do it? I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know. I do not know. But that is your coaching carousel for the moment. Now, if you get on Football Scoop, I'm sure you'll find some more like who's going to be at Colorado College of the Mines. Mike Bobo, he's not
Oh,
returning to the staff. I forgot about that. That's more of a best of the West type thing, but Israel, I know that one hits a little close to home.
yeah, I kind of saw this one coming. I think, after Auburn got rid of, Coach Williams, who I personally like, I think there was some turmoil going on there to begin with. And then after the debacle this past Saturday, I kind of saw the writing on the wall, but I thought it was going to be more of Harsin was going to take a little bit more control of the offense. It was still going to be Bobo's deal, but he was going to have more say. But to completely abandon it and, to go a whole different route, I did not see that coming. You got to think there were some questionable calls throughout the year, but I mean, you're trying to fix Bo Nix. You got TJ Finley coming in who is just not learning everything as well. Didn't really come along as far as they thought. But I think he handled his first Alabama Auburn game pretty well. But it was a surprise to see that today. It really was.
Yeah, it was. I was like, man, he just got scapegoated, but maybe it's not a great fit. Who knows? And then Rhett Lashley, I really like that hire over at SMU.
That's a great hire for them.
I think he's done a good job. I think people are soured with what happened at Auburn, but again, I don't know that was fair. So, And then Israel Troop is going to be the new head coach at Millikan University.
What is that? That a new school?
It's Division III. They compete in the
It-
CCIW. They're looking for a head
Does
coach.
does it snow there? Because I'm not going.
Oh, it snows like crazy there.
Yeah, that's a no go for me.
That's it. It's in Decatur, Illinois. Like,
It's 32 degrees here, and we're like, oh my god, what's going on?
yeah, I've had ice on my windshield last 3 weeks, but not only is it cold, but to make it better, there's absolutely nothing to do.
Where's it at?
Oh no! If there's nothing,
Decatur, Illinois.
Mm.
no. If there's not a Target, my wife said no.
Oh, okay.
That's a no. If there's not one Target in town, my wife we ain't going.
That's hilarious. I'm sure there's a Target about 45 minutes down the road. Take the old family trip. I wonder what
St.
Israel-
Louis, Peoria,
Lord.
Chicago, or something. The closest Target.
Yeah. Closest Target, Minneapolis.
Yeah. I got to take my pistol everywhere. I mean, I'm like, no, we can't go.
Israel, what would your kids do if they saw snow?
I think they love it. We're kind of in that adolescent stage to where everything's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I went dove hunting on Saturday and brought a dove back so they could see it. They were all excited. They said, "Daddy, why ain't it moving?" I said, "Daddy shot it." So,
And their dreams were shot with it, shattered. Oh my god!
Yeah.
The first time they realized that Daddy hunts animals.
yeah, but they're really good. I think snow would they'd be excited for a little while and then they get over it. My wife would hate it. She hates being cold.
She definitely
so-
would like Decatur.
No, she hates it now. And in the morning time, she's like, I don't want to go outside. So if she wakes up and sees snow, it's gonna be ball game.
do you have to start the car for her?
Oh yeah.
In the
Both of
mornings?
us got remote start, so we have to. It's a must.
Oh, that's good. That's
You
really
turn the
good.
heater on before you turn it off, so when you crank it up, it's already on.
It's already rocking and rolling. That's pretty awesome. So games last week. Now, before we get into that, we have a brand new sponsor on the show, Lightbox Jewelry. So say goodbye to dull gifts. Lightbox lab-grown diamonds are the best gift of the year. That's lab-grown diamonds. Using cutting-edge technology and innovative techniques, they've cracked the science of sparkle, creating the highest quality lab-grown diamonds that you can find at a light price, $800 per carat. They have the same chemical makeup of natural diamonds, but are just grown in a lab. Because of their process, they can create stones in a bluish pink and a beautiful blue, as well as classic white. Lightbox lab-grown diamonds are the gift that they'll never want to take off. Priced so they won't have to. They really do make any outfit sparkle. I know my outfit needs some sparkle. Visit lightboxjewelry.com and add sparkle to your holiday shopping. That's lightboxjewelry.com. Lightbox diamonds, never a dull moment. So, if you're listening to this show and need some shopping ideas, Lightbox Jewelry. There you go, man.
Dude, those
Lab-
I wish
colors.
I'd known about this before I brought my wife her Christmas present.
I know.
I'm with
Heck,
those
I mean,
colors too.
You still got time, Israel. You still.
the white,
Yeah,
the pink, and the blue.
You do
and-
seem like somebody that would like some blue.
Yeah, and I'm born in November, and I don't know all the birthstones, but November birthstone is an ugly brown color. So this has got the
Yeah, I know.
November's the topaz or whatever they call it. It's ugly. So that's white and pink and blue that Lightbox is talking about. Those colors are way better than us November birthstone type people. So
Yeah.
I'm already for it.
Man.
I'm a sapphire. I'm a September.
See,
dude.
you get that's a good
See?
color. All these good colors, but November gets stuck with that doo-doo brown topaz. And it's terrible.
I was literally about because I'm a November baby too, and
The
I
third,
remember mine's the 4th.
I said,
So I remember looking at birthstones like, why does ours look like doo doo?
yeah, man, it's terrible. It's terrible,
Like
man.
not like solid doo doo. Like the doo doo like you just ate 3 Taco Bells from being in downtown Athens, and you woke up the next morning and it didn't come out good. Type doo-doo brown.
11 months of the year, you got opals and rubies and amethysts and all this other stuff, and we just get shafted, man. It ain't right.
Y'all get doo-dooed on, pun intended.
Yes.
Speaking of teams that got doo-dooed on, Georgia Tech got doo-dooed on 2 straight weeks. Jeff Collins is not a candidate at Notre Dame, nor is he a candidate at Oklahoma. So that game, there was quick work made of that game. Same with Kentucky on Louisville. That was a fun and exciting game, right, Vinny?
It was.
Hey, Vinny, what's this?
Ain't it? Oh, hey, Will Levis let the country know. L down. They won just like Texas whines about horns down, and we just give it to them that much more. Another blowout, and it's just lopsided. This year they were better, and the same thing. Just another, it's another 30 piece. Will Levis juking people, breaking ankles, and hurling dudes. I mean, come on now, come on, Louisville.
Exactly. You took the pizza box and crushed it.
That's right. Sure did.
Georgia, there was an aerial shot, Israel, of the Georgia game of Bobby Dodge Stadium. And I didn't see any Tech colors.
No, I saw no blue or white. I don't even think the band even wore the team colors.
They all wore red.
Pretty much. And
it's
Bobby Dodd's turf now. And their paint looks terrible.
Yes. Like they ran out of money. They obviously they got turf and fired their whole grounds crew. So there's nobody there to paint.
And then they turned around and fired the OC, the co-DC, and the secondary coach. Like that was the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wow, oh boy, and now you're losing Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
he's in the portal.
Who is a grown man. We played against him in the playoffs in 2016 when he was at Dalton, and that young man is the real deal. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. Georgia Tech,
Georgia Tech, I'm not keeping Jeff Collins very long.
No,
all the talent in Atlanta, and you guys know well as I do, Atlanta produces some of the best athletes ever, but you're keeping them in Georgia, and they're actually going to Georgia Tech, but you can't win. I don't think that's a coordinator type thing. I think that starts at the top from the AD to the head coach, in my opinion. That's just me.
Exactly. And when your head coach is too worried about marketing, and Israel, you and I went in depth about this, so if you want to hear our thoughts on Jeff Collins, they haven't changed because it's just more of the same. He's just too busy marketing and doing the ATL thing and the Waffle House Cup and all the gimmicks, and there's no substance behind it. So, like at some point,
Georgia Tech, I'm getting a guy like Coach Stoops, Mark Stoops. That's hard nosed, no nonsense. Like I'm here to win football games. I'm here to, recruit players who want to win football games. That's the kind of guy from Georgia Tech. That's what I'm going to get.
You need somebody with a Paul Johnson approach, but recruits better. That's what you need.
He's meat and potatoes.
Matt Rule would be a perfect fit. Yeah. Matt Rule would be a perfect fit at Georgia Tech. That'd be a great hire. I don't think he'll go there, but that'll be a great hire. Ole Miss, Georgia Tech. Ole Miss should wipe the floor with him. If you don't, then Lane Kiffin probably should be fired. Also, South Carolina kind of disappointed me a little bit. I thought they would give Clemson a little bit more of a run, but they were never in that game. And then Vanderbilt, Tennessee, it was close for a minute, and then Tennessee did what Tennessee does. They pulled away. And absolutely destroyed them. Honestly, the best games, the Egg Bowl was really entertaining. It was fun. I thought the Iron Bowl was
great.
It was a great game. You kept going, okay, Auburn, and not because you don't like Alabama, just because like, hey, this is a 3-touchdown underdog that's about to beat the number 2 team in the country. Like, I want to see if they can do it. And they just, Israel, they stopped pressuring in that last drive.
the last drive is hurt. Well, what started is Tech Bisbee went out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On I think it was second down play, he went out of bounds. And you gave them a minute and 30 seconds to get down the field. One thing we know about Bryce Young is that he doesn't get phased. I mean, they kind of held it together the whole game. And then you got to realize that they might not be able to run the ball, but they can throw it. And he's got 4 or 5 horses back there that can go get it. And then number 23, bless his heart, he became a liability because Mechie ate him up to win the game. But the touchdown throw, you're one-on-one. Pass interference is 15 yards. Don't give up a touchdown.
No.
They still got to go score. They still got to call plays. And by that time, game's over.
And they were struggling in the red zone.
Exactly. So pass interference, just push them down.
Exactly. So I don't, just grab him, just tackle him, whatever you got to do. I mean, if there's ever a time to take a pass interference penalty, that's a time. But for Tank Bigsby, if there's ever a reason to just go down, like go against all of your natural football instincts and just hit the deck.
And he was already he tried after he was out of bounds. It hit him. You could see it in his mind. Oh, I need to get down. He was already drug out of bounds by the time it entered his mind to tell his body to get down. It was too late.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't call a play near the sideline. The play bounced. He just bounced it out there. He just ran out there. That one, as much as I don't like to blame kids and all that stuff, but that one was on Tank Bigsby.
Mm-hmm.
That play was on Bigsby. And unfortunately for him, it had huge implications.
Yeah.
His defense could have picked him up. It's a team sport. Obviously, there's some things that could have happened. Like they could have pressured more. Every time they pressured, it seemed like they got home. They could have passed it. They could have taken a pass interference and forced them to take more snaps. They could have stopped them on 4th and 7 when they had a chance to. When Billingsley just ran a nice simple comeback on the sideline.
But that's asking a lot when they've held Alabama to a field goal for 59 minutes. Pick Tank up one more time, but you have held these dudes in check. This ain't your typical dominant Alabama, but it's still Alabama. Jameson was suspended, but you still got some dudes over there, and you held them to a field goal for 59 minutes, and you're that close to, like you said, 3 touchdown underdog, and throw the records out, but for them to even be in the game. The way that they had been trending coming into the game was something else. And all the stuff, too, we've seen in Iron Bowls throughout the years, from before we was even born, punt, Bama punt, and all that stuff. For this to be the first one to go into overtime, to see history made after all the crazy things that have happened in that rivalry was pretty cool, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. But Bryce Young, again, man, he played poorly for 59 minutes, but not poorly, but he didn't play as good as he normally does. He was getting hit, battered, making bad decisions. They were one-dimensional for most of the game, and then they were just in a 2-minute situation. They were allowed to just sit back and pick them apart, which I don't understand that either. But when you look at this game, when you look at what Bryce Young was able to do, the dude just has guts, man. He climbed the pocket, hit several throws to push him down the field. The dude just threw an absolute dime on that touchdown. It was a beautiful throw. The guy was surprised that it got to him. I don't think he could have handed it to him any better.
Yeah, you can't take a freshman and put him in a situation like that and expect the outcome that you get in the Iron Bowl. In that situation, you need a touchdown and you get a touchdown. Poised, 2-minute drill, he gets it done. Which is scary. Going into this Saturday.
Yeah.
If they can pull that off, of course our defense, we'll figure it out real quick. But the potential that could even happen, puts a little fear in you. Good thing is they don't have a number 2 that can come in behind him.
Yeah.
But just the fact that he can do that as a freshman. Just wait till he figures it out in 2 more years, how much more deadly he's going to be.
Well, let's just go ahead and use that as a jumping point for this week's big game coming up, the SEC Championship, Georgia, Alabama, Georgia opens at 6-point favorites. I think when you look at it and you compare with, Auburn was able to hold them to 3 points, but Auburn couldn't do anything either. They had T.J. Finley, who's bad enough, but then he's on one leg. Now he's even worse. Now he's even more useless. So when you look at that situation, it was just borrowed time for them. It was only a matter of time to when Bama was going to – like if you hold Bama to 3 points, you better put them away and you better score on them while you get a chance to. And they had chances to. Auburn had chances to. There was open receivers. There was bigger run lanes. They did some good things to help neutralize Will Anderson, but then again, Will Anderson was a beast in other situations that helped Alabama keep themselves in the game. But to me, with the biggest key for me for Georgia, obviously Bama's going to have tough sledding, right? They couldn't block Auburn's defensive line. What makes you think they're going to be able to block Georgia's defensive line? They ain't running on Georgia. I got news for them. They're not running on Georgia. But in order to keep the passing, I think you have to take that Tennessee approach, right? To where, screw it. We're just going to play man. We're going to come after Bryce Young. We're going to hit him, and hit him. And we're going to make him beat us, and we're going to make Alabama beat us in the run game, which is – that's not going to happen. And then Georgia's offense, they've got to give themselves opportunities and take advantage of what rare opportunities you're going to have against Bama, because Bama can play defense. So you've got to take advantage of some opportunities that you may have against that Bama defense, which I think Stetson has done a good job. Is he the right guy for this job? I guess we're going to find out. Do I think so? I don't know. As of right now, he is. And we're going to find out. And if not, then JT will come off the bench and he will lead us to victory. I don't think Kirby Smart has any problems with that. If Stetson is struggling and we're still within striking distance, to make that change and let JT go eat.
So you team JT? Sound like you team JT.
I'm team whoever wins us the championship. That's me. If it's JT, great. If it's Stetson, great. I really don't care. I really don't care. I just know, I know the things that JT can do better than Stetson, but then on the flip side, there's a lot of things that Stetson can do better than JT. And I think for what we do philosophy-wise offensively, it seems like Stetson's skill set is the best fit, which has me really excited for Brock Vandegrift and for Gunnar Stockton, because those guys are 5-star versions of Stetson.
Oh.
And it fires me up.
That's true.
About that. Like Gunnar Stockton especially. I think Gunnar Stockton's better than Vandegrift, to be honest with you. So because he's played against better competition, I think. That's the biggest key. I think he's more polished. I think he's more ready. So
I think he's regretting that decision after this past Friday against Thomasville.
Oh, is he?
My man was leaking blood out his nose in the second quarter.
Oh, geez.
They were thumping him. They were thumping him, boy.
Oh, boy. Well, Thomasville, man, they don't mess around.
No, they was getting hit and hit hard. But I'm with you. I'm with whoever gets the job done. Like Vinny said, am I team JT or team Stetson? I'm team winning. Whoever's back there, as long as we win, I don't care who gets it. I don't care if they put they can put Burton back there. I don't care.
Well, we're gonna dominate if I'm back there. Are you talking about my cousin?
We run the Wildcat.
You talking about my cousin Jermaine?
My man.
That's right, my cousin Jermaine. Well, I can get it done too. I can get it done
That's
too.
my cousin, then.
Yeah.
If Alabama struggled with Auburn, maybe they were looking ahead to y'all. Who knows? Maybe they're just, it's just how it is. Were you all? And look, Auburn is a rival of y'all's as well. I mean, Georgia Tech, Auburn, Florida, depending on what age the Georgia fan is you ask, you probably get a different answer. Yeah. Were you all wanting Alabama to beat Georgia so y'all could get them with only one loss, and that way it can be or were you hoping that Auburn would beat them? What was going through y'all's mind Saturday? Let's get a 2-loss Bama for the championship game, or let Bama come in with 1 loss, and how did it matter?
I'll say this: Bama is Bama, whether they have 1 loss or 2. Either way, I think if we beat them, they're out of the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
The way it sits at this moment, I don't think there's going to be a 2-loss team in the playoff. So if we win, they're out. That being said, Bama is Bama. They already clinched, so there was no threat of them losing that spot. And I think for us to be vindicated, for some odd reason, it has to be Bama.
Mm-hmm.
We have to beat Bama for us to be vindicated and be taken seriously. Now, winning the SEC is a serious thing. Like, you get some serious credit. But the year we went to the national championship, we beat Auburn in the SEC championship. We didn't knock off Bama. Like, that seems to be the standard right now. Because we've had those close games with Bama, the one last year, the SEC championship and the national championship, and games in the past as well. I think that's kind of stuck in everybody's mind, where if they don't beat Bama, they really didn't accomplish anything, which we could have played Ole Miss, beat Ole Miss, and I still think it would have been a tremendous deal, because winning the SEC is a huge deal. Getting the playoff is a huge deal. But for the sake of getting that monkey off our back, to me, it's got to be Bama.
Yeah, so I think at the same time, with the only reason I wanted Auburn to win is so Bama couldn't get in the playoff if we were to lose.
Yeah,
because they would have 2 losses, and I mean, we all know if for some reason Bama beats us Saturday, they're going to put Bama in the playoff. Like, we know that. But Bama with 2 losses, and for some reason they just happen to beat us or anything like that, I don't think you, like Corey said, you can't put a 2-loss team in the playoff. If that's the case, then Georgia should have been in a couple years ago and all that. Now you just go against everything in the playoff.
Mm-hmm. Now you're just kind of doing whatever you want. So, but I think there's plenty of, like, Michigan is going to win their title. They're going to be in. I think Oklahoma State, if they can beat Oklahoma again, they'll be in. You can't. I mean, at this point, you can't leave Cincinnati out unless you put Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I can't see you leaving a conference undefeated team out to put Notre Dame, who has done nothing in the playoff. I think Cincinnati's going to give you a best game out of that situation.
Exactly. So I don't think a 2-loss team gets in it, but I could be wrong. They could just completely jump Oklahoma State and say, sorry, Oklahoma State did all of that to win the Big 12, and then they just get left out. They just need to go on expanding this thing. But yes, I think it's good that Alabama got taken to the wire on Saturday. I think Auburn did their job of banging them up. Like, Alabama went into that game thinking, and we all did, thinking, okay, starters will be out by the end of the third quarter at the latest, if not sooner. Right? We all thought it was going to be a Jameson Williams and John Mechie air show, and they were going to make sure all the light bulbs on the scoreboard worked, right? And I think so did Bama. Like, this Bama team mentally, I don't think they have the same mental capacity, the same edge that they normally have. You guys with me on that? Yes, they still have an edge. Like, I knew Bama was going to win that game midway through the fourth quarter because they just kept making play after play, and I just knew one of those was going to break, and they were going to win. Because Auburn looked like they were trying so desperately to hold on to something. Like when somebody's like pulling something away from you and you're like holding on desperately, but you're going to lose it at some point.
Yeah.
And then the person pulling knows that if I just keep pulling, even though I'm not getting it, all of a sudden I'm going to break it loose. I got to be ready for it. That was what Bama was, and that's what Auburn was. So they got taken to the wire. That moment didn't happen until the fourth overtime, where Bama just kept struggling to pull the game out of their hands, and they just couldn't do it until the fourth overtime. And Bama walked out of there banged up, bruised, battered, emotionally drained, physically drained. You don't have your best player, obviously, in Jamison Williams, but he'll be back. He served his suspension for targeting, but um, it's just not the same. It's just not the same look to me.
Right, and it's hard to be where they've been year in and year out. So this is a little bit of a drop off for them, and they've managed to go 11-1 in a quote non-typical, usual Bama year. So you guys get them this time, and you guys been wanting them, and it's been this collision course all year long. And Saturday at 4:00, we finally get to see it. I still think it should be prime time too. I always think the SEC championship game should be at 8:00. I mean, put these other ones in front of it. Put the Big 10 and the Big 12 at 3 and 4 o'clock, and let the SEC be prime time. I always thought it should be at 8:00.
Yeah, I always think of prime time. CBS for me is the 3:30, 4 o'clock game for me. Somebody asked me that day, actually, why isn't Georgia prime time? I said it is prime time. I mean, that's when I watch football.
Saturday afternoon, because you're going out with the wife Saturday night, and Saturday morning you're running all your errands.
Yeah.
So it's prime time right there, man. 3:30.
That'll work. That'll work too.
I'm not a big fan of night games for this one, especially. SEC. CBS 3:30 is usually when we play.
All eyes are on you in the middle of the afternoon.
If you move it, I feel like it kind of takes the luster out of that, because like I said, we're used to 3:30. That's prime time. CBS, Gary Danielson, and all those guys, you're used to them being at 3:30. That's the prime time game. So I love it. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. Like you said, this is what we wanted. We wanted Bama, and we got it. So what are we going to do this time?
And I don't care what you say. They're still the number 2 team in the country at this moment. So people are going to try to claim, oh, Bama's down. They're not as good, yada, yada, yada. They're still the number 2 team in the country. So if we beat them, it's an accomplishment. It's not like we're taking on a 4-loss Bama here who's just limping in because they were the only team left standing.
Mm-hmm.
They're still good.
I'm glad for y'all's sake they pulled it out against Auburn. So that takes away that they're down even more, because they're quote down, but they're still a 1-loss Bama team. So that for perception wise, for y'all's sake, you're still getting Bama as good as they can be. They dropped one to A&M. They've been come in and had 1-loss seasons before. So it's not like they can even say, well, they beat a 2-loss Alabama team. This was, so that throws all that out the window for y'all's sake, for the people that want to yap and chatter about that kind of stuff. So y'all don't have to really hear as much of it as I think you would have.
Yeah, but let's be real. Is Alabama ever really down? They don't. They just reload, and I think this year is just a trying time.
Mm-hmm.
They got their coaching changes. New faces everywhere at their positions. So they're not down by any means. I just think that they're reloading, and it's taking a little bit longer than it should, than they're used to.
Yeah, and they only lost one game in this process.
Yeah, with that, so if
they lost
if this
one
is
game,
their down year,
and you're considering it a down year because they played a tight one with Arkansas, who went from 2-8 to 8-4.
Mm-hmm. And Florida had a close one at Florida.
And Florida, who used every last ounce of strength and will and talent to keep that one close. You lose in a tough home environment. You lose in a tough road environment, or you don't lose, but you almost lose in a tough road environment where you actually jump out 21-0, and then with a freshman quarterback who's never played in an environment like that. Let's see what else. You lose to A&M, which is they just came out flat.
They were out of their minds that day.
Yeah.
I mean, Mississippi State played with them for a minute. Tennessee played with them for a minute until they figured it out and pulled away. I'm not sure who else they played, but I don't think it mattered. But
you just ran into Auburn.
LSU. LSU.
LSU.
Yeah.
You just LSU just I don't know. They played hard.
Yeah.
Coach O.
Yeah.
Coach O didn't get fired because of his stuff on the field. I think some of the stuff off the field bled into that, and they weren't able to execute as well. But those kids love him.
Mhm.
hmm
They play hard, which
You
is
don't play hard for a coach that's already leaving and
Mhm.
that's still there the way that they did.
They wanted to send
So
him
that
out the
just
right
goes to
way.
show you how goes to show you how much one confidence they had in Coach O and his impact on that team.
So,
Mhm.
Brian Kelly, the cherry tomato, can he do it? So, yeah, I made a mistake. Stat boy, show me where I'm wrong. Oklahoma State plays Baylor, not
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think they'd probably rather play Oklahoma. So yeah, championship game. It's the 4:00 Eastern, 3 Central. I'm so used to Central Time now. I've been here for almost 15 years that I just go ahead and say the Central Time. So if I ever do that, just translate, you Eastern Time Zone people. It's great being in the Central
Yeah.
Time Zone because we still get that like night game feel, but it's an hour earlier. Like a game ends at midnight, it'll end at 11 here, which
Yeah.
that
I'm
extra
asleep
hour
by
is
then.
that extra out. Yeah, there's been a lot of games where I like woke up the next morning and go, "Whoa, that was an exciting game." And then there's some
College football final lets me know everything that happens when I go to bed.
exactly. Pac-12 after dark. I'm already checking my eyelids, so
Yeah.
checking them for holes. But
Yeah.
guys, that's going to wrap us up for today. Actually, we are actually echoing across many platforms. I'm not sure the exact number. Maybe Steve will tell me, but we're probably at least going across 30 different platforms as of right now. So that's going to increase our viewership. I know I'm echoing on 4 different platforms. I know Steve's running it on all of his. Vinny, I think you're running it on 2 or 3.
Nope.
Israel, you got to jump on board here, bud. Um,
I know.
you got to sign up for
Oh,
Restream.
Busy.
Yeah,
busy.
I know. You just got to sign up for
You know,
Restream.
actually,
Get in the Twitter thread.
with you guys, I mean, it's I just retweet everything you guys do. So really, I live vicariously through you guys. So I really appreciate it.
Attaboy. There you go. Just retweet. Just find my streams and retweet them to all your people. So
Y'all are the technology people. I'm just a PE/football coach. I let y'all handle all this stuff.
well, guys, I'm just a ball coach now. So, but yeah, we are echoing. You can find us just about anywhere. I feel like so. We got a nice little network going with the Y'all's Conference Network. We got a lot of people jumping on board. We got a lot of people involved. A lot of people with a lot of followers. So we got some good things afoot. So we can start welcoming some of those guys as guests, and they can come on and chop it up with us as well. Off-season plan, we're talking about basketball, and we might even bring in some special guests. I'll work with you guys to get some people down in that little 4th box. So, however you found us, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. As always, you'll be able to find the audio version of it on anywhere you can find your podcast. And this is, again, follow us on social media. Look right down here below. It's right below the Gamecocks logo there. Follow us on Twitter, retweet it, hit us up on Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. Find the show, tell your friends about it. That's the only way to spread it. But we are the Beast of the East. We are presented by BetOnline.ag and Lightbox Jewelry. For Israel, Vinny, I'm Corey. This is the Beast of the East podcast. Thank you to the people in the chat. And until next time, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Cats.
Go Big Blue.